Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is TwoHeadedFlounder. Welcome to a PTCGL video. Today we're going to be playing Gardevoir EX. Now, I'm going to a league challenge over the weekend, and I had a toss-up between Charizard and Gardevoir. I actually haven't played Gardevoir since baby Gardevoir was still in the deck, so that's, before rotation. So I don't really know what to do with this deck, and I said, let me go build it online, get some tests in with some other people, and see if it's something I like. The deck is strong. I think there's a lot going for it, definitely. I can understand why people call this BDIF. I do think that Zard is more controlling, and I feel Zard has a favorable matchup into Gardevoir, if you play your cards right, but... yeah, I didn't look up other people's lists before going into this. This is just what I decided to make. I did check other lists afterwards, and it might affect my fine-tuning for my challenge, but I looked it up. A lot of this is pretty standard. 4 Curlia Ralts, 2 Gardevoir EX, 2 Monkey Dory. Doesn't show, I don't know why I didn't put in the energy, but it's supposed to be 8 Psychic, 2 Darkness, which also seems to be pretty standard. I have two Drifloons. Other people are playing 1. I like having 2, just so way I don't have to Super Rod for it all the time. I understand why you would play 1. You want more room in the deck, and you are already playing 2 Super Rod, but sometimes you got to get rid of those Super Rods. So I don't know. I feel comfortable with 2. Playing a Manaphy for sniping protection, a Greninja for drawing, Screamtail for sniping, and I am playing a Mew EX. I had it originally for the Zard matchup, which I guess that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because Drifloon can OHKO a Zard, but I don't know, it's in there. 4 Arven, 3 copies of Iono, which might actually come into play a few times in these games, 1 Boss, 1 Turo. A lot of it's just consistency at that point, but we are playing the unfair stamp as well. So let's get into these games, and first up, we're going to be having a game against Ancient Box. I don't know this matchup. I do have Ancient Box built myself, and it's very different from other people's builds. I don't like Pokestop all that much. I know a lot of people, live by the Pokestop. Me, not so much. So, playing against a standard version of this deck, I'm not too sure about. So we're going to leave Greninja versus their Fluttermane, which obviously is horrible because I can't use Greninja's ability because it's in the active. I have to retreat it, go into something else, and I don't really know if I want to throw up a Ralts because I don't want a Ralts getting knocked out. It's pretty frail, while Greninja can at least take 1 hit from Fluttermane. But we are going to Arven. I'm going to grab a Nest Ball and a Pokemon, I keep going to call Pokemon, a TM Evolution. And unfortunately for me, I play very bad this game. I load up my bench because I'm like, okay, we're going against Roaring Moon, that usually is going to be attacking turn 1, turn 2, if all the cards are played properly, and I might be getting a knocked out Radiant Greninja here, right? So I went and filled up my bench. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. I did manage to get 2 Curlia in play, which is going to be good for drawing cards. But effectively now, I need to draw into Turo, because unfortunately for my opponent, he doesn't have the greatest start. So he is getting a lot of the ancient cards in the discard pile, and he is kind of just sitting there still. So I got a choice now. I have a lot of one-offs in my deck. Do I get rid of the rare candy? I can just rare candy into a Gardevoir, or do I get rid of maybe the Poffins and other things? But Counter Catcher and Super Rod seem like they're going to be very important, so I'll keep those. Until now, I guess, I get rid of those, because I can Ultra Ball the 2 Psychic away and manage to get myself another Curlia or a Gardevoir. But we definitely want to keep the Darkness energy, so we can maybe throw that on to another Monkey Dory later on, or even concealed cards here. So I do manage to draw into an Iono. I'm going to Refinement and get rid of Monkey Dory, just because we already have one in play with the energy, and I can Super Rod it back in later if I really need it. And then I don't Iono because my opponent really didn't show me much. They didn't have a very explosive turn 1, so I'm not really like what's going on here, you know? And unfortunately, they're just not playing. I can't think of her name. All I can think of is Turo. Sada. They're not playing Sada, so they're not getting extra energy into play. And as we just saw, Sada enter the discard pile. So I'm going to go ahead and Earthen Vessel away the Pal Pad, which actually is probably what makes this game very, very close. So I go heavy on the refinements, just getting rid of cards. I'm like, I'm not going to Iono my opponent because I don't want them to have new cards. Their hand isn't too big, and you know, like, why would I Iono them when they don't have anything? I don't want to give them 6 fresh cards where they start popping off. I want to keep it kind of control-y in a sense, if that makes sense. I can't give them card advantage. So if they get anything going with like Roaring Moon powered up and counter catchers and all that stuff, like we could be in a bad situation. So right here, I decided that I think I'm going to go ahead and start attacking with Monkey Dory. So I load up 2 energy to the Ralts in the active, 1 for the retreat, but 2 so I can get 30 damage down, so I can take the 30 damage with Monkey Dory's ability. Important that I do it from the bench before I move Monkey Dory to the active, because I wouldn't be able to do it. And then I can go ahead and attack, do the exact 90 damage for a knockout, and at least Monkey Dory's in the active, as opposed to my Curlia or a Gardevoir, right? Don't want to take the KO with Gardevoir because they'll just easily return KO me with the Roaring Moon on the bench. I'm going to go ahead and drop down a Drifloon. I guess I decide to throw the Charm down because I don't know if they really tech in anything for this matchup. I would assume you do. Lost Vacuum seems like it is probably good for this matchup, but again, I don't really know what people play standardly in Lost Box. Also, like, mine was built pre-Walking Wake. I know people play Walking Wake in theirs now, so I couldn't really tell you. But I have a lot in the discard, and I'm very aggressive with my refinements. We're gonna see a counter catcher played, pull up my Gardevoir EX and take it out. So now I'm down a Gardevoir, but we can easily get Gardevoir back in. It's not a big deal. However, it's not like I really want that to happen. Like, there's another Roaring Moon on the bench, all loaded up with energy. Well, it's not all loaded up. They just need 1 energy attachment. So like, they have another attack next turn, most likely. So I need to kind of just get rid of some stuff. I have to get Gardevoir back into play. I decided to shuffle in a Dark Energy just so I can use that for potential retreating purposes, but also if I need to get Monkey Dory back into play. And I'm just counting, seeing what's in there. I decide that I'm going to grab a Nest Ball and a Bravery Charm now, and I'm really thinning because in case there is an Iono ever coming, like, I just want to be able to draw into cards I know I need. I am, however, going to counter catcher play here, and so the idea here is that I am going to trap up this Roaring Moon with no energy in the active spot. I'm going to evolve into my Gardevoir. I'm going to get the 30 damage onto it, and then I'll retreat it. I'll go into the Scream Tail, and I'll just start sniping while they can't retreat or power up an attacker in 1 turn. I believe at this point they've got all 4 Sada in the discard pile, so I'm kind of feeling confident and good about it. And if they do manage to get an attack off, they're only going to be able to take out Screamtail, which isn't the end of the world. So that's what I end up doing. I load up 4 energy so I can do 160 to one of the bench Pokemon. We're going to take that damage off of the Gardevoir EX and throw it onto the Roaring Moon with the energy. And then I'm going to snipe the one with the appropriate amount of energy to attack me. So I'm feeling good and confident because I don't really know what they're going to be able to do, and like I'm in a pretty good spot. But the only problem is I went really hard on those refinements. There's 6 cards left in the deck. I only have 1 copy of Iono left, and there's no Palpad. So I gotta play this pretty riskily. I could deck out because of my stupidity. So they are going to be able to penny off the active. They're going to throw a Roaring Moon into the active, the one that had the energy on it before. But that 30 damage is actually really nice because that means I only have to hit for 170, which is very much doable in the scenario that we're in because of Drifloon and the Hard Charm. I'm going to throw Monkey Door into the active because it has that Psychic energy on it, and I need to essentially remove that from it so I can go ahead and get another one into the discard pile so I can use it for Drifloon. So we are going to do that. I ended up collapsing so that there isn't a whole lot of room for my opponent to just flood the board or anything like that. And I'm going to Iono because I want to get them to 3 cards in hand, and also like I need to shuffle cards back into my deck. I am going to refine it once because again I'm stupid, but we're going to go ahead and be able to get 5 Psychic Energy onto this Drifloon. I think I was doing it because I miscounted. I thought I only had 4 in the discard pile, but it doesn't even matter. I only need 3 to do the attack because that does 180 damage, which gets us the KO. I'm going to be able to move the 2 damage off the Monkey Dory to the other Roaring Moon on the bench, just in case that they also want to try throwing another tool on it to give it 200 HP. So we're going to see Greninja come to the active, the Ancient Tool. For love of me, for the life of me, I cannot remember what it is called. Ancient Booster Capsule. Thank you. But I did draw my 1 boss. We're going to pull that up and just get the KO. It's not like he has any energy in play either. But right here, I also decide what I should be doing is trying to snipe this Flutter Mane, because if I can go ahead and put 30 damage onto that over the course of 2 more turns, I will be able to take an extra prize card. But also what I'm doing here is I'm putting enough energy onto the board where if they do manage to pull up one of my guys, I can just go ahead and retreat it. It's not going to be a problem. I believe there's 2 Psychic in the discard. The Monkey Dory has an energy. I can just manually retreat. Kirlia I can just attach from hand. The other Kirlia just has enough energy now to retreat, so we're good to go. And we are going to see the counter catcher, and it's actually going to pull up, I believe, the Kirlia with the dark energy, which is fine. We're going to see a Sada now. Okay, there was 1 Sada left. Okay, I remember now. Because they have this huge turn right here where they're able to Palpad and put multiple Sadas back in. I don't know why you would have Pokegeared first. I know they got 2 Pokegear off of that, but it just seems like a really horrible series of misplays. They're going to Nest Ball to find literally no Pokemon left in deck. All their ancient attackers are pretty much gone. All their Roaring Moons and the Donphan for the milling, which would actually be appropriate in this matchup here, is already been discarded. So yeah, I'm able to just attach mainly, retreat, and then blow up the Flutter Mane. I have 1 card left in deck. They have only Pokemon that can't really take hits. It's just his Greninja. He's going to go ahead and Ultra Ball for the Waking... Oh my god, I can't remember any of these Pokemon's names. It's been a while since I played Pokemon, okay? Is it Roaring Wake? Is that what it's called? Anyway, into game 2, we're going to be playing against a Dragapult Charizard deck. So, seeing that there's Manaphy in the active, I actually opt to take things a little slow turn 1 by just kind of being like, I don't know what's going on here, so I'm just going to Buddy Poffin for 2 Ralts, and I'm going to go ahead and pass. So, we're going to see an Arven just for a Buddy Poffin, no tool, no nothing, just that. And they are going to get a Bidoof and the Dreepy in play, which is fine. They have a slow start, so this lets me set up. But unfortunately, I go ahead and fill up my bench again. Why do I do this? Because I'm stupid. But also because I'm looking at my things. I'm like, this is a really bad hand. I need to start drawing into Kirlias. How am I going to do that? Well, I kind of need to get restart going with Mew, so that's what I opt for, and well, those wouldn't have been good draws for the next 2 turns. So in a way, I'm glad I did this, but you're gonna see this is a little problematic later on because I already got rid of 1 copy of my Hard Charm, which means there's only 1 left in the deck, which could be problematic for hitting those 320 damage thresholds. So they're playing a lot of stuff. They get a Rotom into play, they got a Pidgey on the bench, another Dreepy, and they fully evolved into Dragapult, and they're Bibbarrel, so they have the ability to draw, and they just really need a switch and an energy, or they would have to manually attach to Manaphy or a tree, but there's things that are unlikely to happen for them, and that's fine with me. Unless they manage to get, like, Pidgeot into play next turn. So, I ended up with an Ultra Ball, and I go ahead and grab a Gardevoir so I can rare Candy into it. This leaves me with a 0-card hand, so I can restart for a full 3. I also have the Evolution TM on there, so I can go ahead and just evolve them, which is awesome as well. And I'm going to go ahead and refine and get rid of the Buddy Poffin because I have all my little HP Pokemon in play already, and the bench is full. I don't need that. And yeah, I decide to just go ahead for the Evolution attack and just pick the 1 Ralts on the bench, just evolve that into Kirlia. I couldn't evolve the Kirlia anyways, even if I wanted to, because Gardevoir's in my hand, but they're going to drop down to Dracloak and use the ability to try and fish some more pieces. I basically am hoping that I can get a Mew playoff where essentially I can do 200 damage to their Dragapult EX and then snipe the 70 or 60 onto the benched Pidgey, because that would be really good for me, and I know that Mew is going to eventually go down in this matchup anyways. It only has 180 HP, and a lot of the things in this deck attack for a lot. Even if you wanted to snipe Mew 3 times for 60, that's a knockout. So I'm effectively trying to piece together things. It's a little difficult with 1 boss in deck, and also the fact that I can't counter catcher because nothing's been knocked out yet. So I can't even Arven for counter catcher and then do that play. So I'm really set. I want to do this, but I just can't find the pieces, and it's kind of just... Alright, I think I might have to attack with Gardevoir. And also, the fact is, I threw an energy onto a free retreater like Mew, so the only way that energy is getting into the discard pile is going to be via a knockout, or if I Turo it, but I have to draw into my 1 copy of Turo. So it just starts a very weird series of my horrible plays, but again, I'm learning the deck here, so, you know, it's to be expected. I'm not going to get rid of any of the dark energy. I am, however, going to grab another Gardevoir, just on the off chance that they're going to be trying to get Charizard in play. I know a lot of these decks like to play Charizard with Dragapult, so I'm assuming it's going to come into play at some point in time. So I do get the knockout. I take the early prize lead. They are going to send up the Dragapult. This does, however, give them access to their copies of counter catcher, which we are gonna probably see this turn, if not next turn. And stupidly here, I'm still kind of focused in on trying to snipe this Pidgey because it's there and it's not evolved. And I'm thinking, okay, cool, if like I can get this going, that would be awesome. But unfortunately, we're gonna see the Pidgeot come into play here. So not discarding the Mew kind of puts me in a bad situation. Because the energy's still in play, and also I got rid of one of my better attackers in Drifloon. So they're going to go in quick search, grab the counter catcher, pull up Mew, take an easy knockout on it, and put 60 damage onto that Gardevoir EX. Sorry about the lag. I don't know why when I was playing it was just lagging really bad. So I got to go with Gardevoir into the active. They can't knock me out with an attack. But also, if I do want to go ahead and do anything with my Drifloon, I essentially need to get those Psychic Energies back into the discard pile. So I do have the Brave Charm in hand, which is good. I'm going to Nest Ball for the Monkey Dory attached from hand for turn to it, so we can move some of that damage. This also helps prevent Dragapult from being able to knock out my Gardevoir, because it does 200 damage. If they have like a Vitality Band, they would do 210, which is just enough. And then, yeah, I can go ahead and just set up where I can get an easy knockout on Dragapult this turn, which will put me at 3 prizes, and again, gives them access to their counter catcher, which is maybe possibly problematic, especially with that Bibarel and Pidgey both in play with that Charmander on the bench, because Charizard's probably coming at some point. But I end up loading up all 5 energy onto this, and I'm also a little worried about doing this because I feel like a Lost Vacuum is going to be coming my way, especially with that quick search ability. So I end up go ahead and super rotting Mew and Drifloon back into the deck. I have my heart set on getting this Mew play off against Charizard, and I probably shouldn't be focusing on that. It is an out, but I don't know how much of an out it truly is. So we're going to see a Jamming Tower come down, which is unfortunately going to KO my Drifloon. But that evens up the prizes, which means they can't counter catch or anything like that, which is fine. So if they want to boss anything up, they do have to use a supporter for the turn. I go ahead with the Monkey Dory into the active because I do have Monkey Dory in hand. Unless they Iono me, like, I can just drop another Monkey Dory with a Dark Energy and we're good to go. We're going to see the... oh god, what is the energy called? I'm so sorry. I haven't played Standard Pokemon in so long. The Neo Upper Energy, which is going to allow it to basically have double Rainbow to it. So they are also going to drop the Cleffa, which I thought was a very strange play. I think that they're thinking after they Iono me here and kill off my Monkey Dory that the Cleffa is probably safe, and if they need to go ahead and use it to draw cards, they'll have it. I don't think that was completely necessary though, seeing as Bibarel and Pidgeot are both in play, so Cleffa doesn't seem like an optimal Pokemon. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Dark Energy and put Monkey Dory onto the bench here, and I'm going to get that knockout. But first I decide to Iono. I know it doesn't really help super much against them, but it does lower their hand. They have to use incisors for 2, and then they'll have to quick search for something that they want, so it's better than nothing, right? So I actually have a play this turn, and I don't know why, but I'm going to just go ahead and drop the Mew. I think I was thinking about just trying to draw more cards and try and get rid of the Jamming Tower. Not that it really matters because I have no tools left, but I do end up discarding the Arven, going for the restart. I believe I still have the I don't have Refinement anymore. But I did get the Collapsed, so and the Counter Catcher. So what I'm actually going to opt to do this turn is get rid of the Mew that I already dropped, which, so much for hyper-focusing on that Mew play. I'm going to attach the active so I can retreat out of there, and now I can do a series of plays where I can move 30 damage off of this Gardevoir, which takes it out of KO range from a Dragapult, and put it onto the Cleffa for a free prize card, essentially. And I'm going to actually go ahead and counter catcher up the Bibarel because it has a 2 retreat cost, and this deck doesn't play double turbo or anything like that, so they have to go ahead and quick search for an out if they have any. I don't know if they do or what. But this also means I can snipe the Charmander. So I'm going to get a 2-prize turn, KOing Cleffa here with Monkey Dory's ability, which again takes me out of KO range on Gardevoir. We end up with a Psychic Energy, which is nice to see, and I'm going to Roaring Scream to the Charmander for 120 damage, and that's good to know because that 120 is enough to knock out the Bibarel if it gets stuck in the active. But we are going to see a Kieran come into play. And they're just going to use the switching effect to go into Pidgeot, who of course has free retreat. They're going to Industrious Incisors, and then they're going to quick search for, I don't know, maybe a counter catcher. If they counter catcher the Gardevoir on the right into the active spot, I would be at 300 damage. But then I could remove it with Monkey Dory and then attach manually from the hand and then attach from the discard, and I could get it out of the active. But they're actually going to opt to KO the Scream Tail and just ping the Gardevoir on the bench, probably for next turn. I, however, don't have many cards left in deck, and I know that there's a boss left in there somewhere, and I do manage to fish it out. I'm going to go ahead and Boss's Orders, pulling up the Bibarel, and just load 2 more energy onto the Gardevoir in the active spot, and go ahead and attack for 190 and the KO for game. So, very close game. This was actually my first game with the deck. And yeah, I don't know. Seems good. Seems like it might be something I want to play, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.